The slaver ship, Dragon's Maw, locked onto a lone Kresh vessel drifting in the deep black, its pastel hull oblivious.
Number. Not here. Not the children. All hands condition red. This is not a drill. Initiate play safe protocol immediately.
Toddlers throughout the ship abandoned their toys and drifted to safe spots without a single cry. In the playroom, 4-year-old Olivia remained at the observation window, her small silhouette still against the stars.
Olivia, away from the glass now?
She did not move. Her eyes tracked the dark shape eclipsing the distant nebula, unblinking on the Dragon's Maw. Warlord Kex studied the sensor readings and bared his teeth in a predator's grin.
Lieutenant Zarn, take the squad. Reach that Krecha. No survivors. I want the cargo intact.
The airlock filled with the hum of plasma rifles and the clank of magnetic boots. 12 slavers, eager for easy prey. The hummingbird's outer hatch blew inward with a shriek of tortured metal, and Lieutenant Zarn was first through the smoke.
No resistance. Spread out and secure the corridor. We want the cargo alive.
They glided through pastel corridors where not a single child cried. Only floating blocks and stuffed toys drifted in the silence.
Playground. Don't want to leave. Reach and bag the lot. Softest score with a cycle.
The doors slid open. Inside, a dozen toddlers stood in perfect stillness, arranged in a half circle. Their small faces blank as dolls.
Look at them. Frozen little prizes. Not even a whimper. This is too easy.
His fingers never touched the child. A wooden block, no bigger than a fist, shot across the room and cracked into his helmet with the force of a hammer. Zarn staggered backward, his visor spider-webbed, his squad frozen in disbelief. The toddlers had not moved. What the? Where did that come from?
Stay sharp. All of you.
In the quiet that followed, the first shot of the boarding had been fired. Not by a slaver, but by a child who still hadn't blinked. Without a word, the toddlers launched themselves. A silent wave of small bodies swarming the slavers in the zero-G playroom. Open fire. They're just children. Cut them down. A slaver screamed as a child. Toys rifled away and bound his thick wrists with a plastic zip tie. Another staggered blindly. A pastel blanket pulled tight over his helmet. Tiny hands knotting the fabric.
This time, real. They're toddlers. And they're winning.
Zarn fired his plasma rifle, and the bolt scorched empty air. The targeted child had already flipped behind a floating toy. The slavers clawed toward the door, but 2 toddlers blocked it, shoving a heavy chest across the threshold.
Everyone, back to the airlock.
His squad scrambled, but the children moved faster, cutting off every escape route with eerie coordination. 2 of Zarn's squad were already bound and disarmed, and the lieutenant knew, with cold finality, that he was no longer in control. The slavers pounded on the playroom door, but it wouldn't open. The ship's child safety locks had sealed every corridor in that section.
Blast the door. We're trapped in here with these little demons. Use the cutting charges.
In the center of the chaos, Olivia lifted one tiny finger, her eyes still fixed on the intruders. The lights across the ship flickered in unison.
The emergency drills. We called them games, but they were training. Every safety drill, every treasure hunt, how did I not see it?
She remembered the hide-and-seek exercise that taught zero-G maneuvering, the surprise tag that built flanking instincts.
They weren't games. They were preparation for exactly this. And I never questioned it because they were just children.
Elena shoved away from the console and launched herself out of the control room, desperate to reach the playroom before the children hurt anyone or got hurt themselves. On the bridge, Kex stared at the readout. 2 life signs flat. Zarn's voice crackled over the comm, barely coherent. Children. Everywhere. Can't hold.
Enough. Squads 2 and 3. Boarding drill. Heavy weapons. Bring them back or don't come back yourselves.
A second wave of slavers, armored and grim, poured into the hummingbird's airlock, expecting a massacre. They had no idea they were walking into a slaughter. The second squad swept through the corridor, catching Elena mid-flight and clamping a gauntleted hand over her mouth. They hauled her into the playroom, where Zarn seized her as a living shield, his cracked visor leaking fear.
Everyone freeze. One wrong move from those little monsters, and the caretaker loses an arm.
The room went still. Children halted, their small faces blank as new moons, all eyes swiveling toward Olivia. Olivia floated forward, her pigtails drifting, and fixed her unnervingly calm gaze on Zarn.
You shouldn't have done that.
The 5 words fell like ice water through the room. Zarn's bravado cracked, but he forced a sneer and raised whole colonies.
I won't be threatened by a nursery. Call off the pack or she dies.
Don't push her, Zarn. You have no idea what they're capable of.
The children didn't move, but the air grew so heavy that even the slavers felt the ship itself holding its breath, waiting for Olivia's will. Olivia's will unleashed the ship. Lights strobed, gravity fluctuated, doors slammed shut. Zarn's eyes widened in terror. A toddler swung the fire extinguisher into the slaver, holding Elena. He buckled, releasing her into the floating chaos. Children latched onto his arms, stripping the rifle away and binding his wrists with bright plastic zip ties before he could recover. Elena kicked free, gasping, as the disarmed slaver stumbled backward, his weapon clattering away into the toy-strewn room. Across the room, toddlers methodically stripped the slavers of weapons and forced them to their knees, binding limbs with practiced efficiency. On the bridge, Kex's display flickered, more life signs flatlining, vitals dropping into the red. His claw clenched the console.
What have we walked into? That ship is a trap. Pull them out, back to the dragon's maw.
You are monsters. All of you. What kind of species trains infants for war?
But there was no answer except the soft click of another zip-tied tightening, and the cold stare of a 4-year-old girl who still hadn't blinked. Olivia gave a small hand signal, and 2 toddlers broke away to a wall panel. They activated a child-proof lockout that sealed every remaining hatch on the ship. No escape, no reinforcements.
They're using the emergency brain. But the way they move, it's like they've done this 100 times.
A toddler pulled a plush toy's ear, and a hidden comm jammer emitted a quiet hum. The slavers' headsets screeched into silence. One by one, the invaders dropped to their knees, wrists bound behind them, their weapons piled in a toy chest. Zarn knelt, his cracked visor reflecting a dozen small forms, no longer trying to speak.
Olivia, how deep does this training go? What else have they taught you?
The game. Level 3. But you said I should always protect the little ones.
Elena's breath caught. She had never seen level 3. She had only been told it was a team-building exercise. The slavers were utterly broken, kneeling in a pastel ring of toddlers, their only audience, the silent stars beyond the observation window. On the bridge, Kex was done waiting. He ordered a personal guard and boarded the hummingbird himself, determined to end the insult.
I'll deal with this myself. No more excuses. That creche will learn what happens when you defy Warlord Kex.
He stormed into the playroom, his boots thudding on pastel mats, and found his elite troops kneeling in a ring of silent toddlers.
What is this? Get up, you worthless scum. How dare you kneel to infants?
Olivia tilted her head, her pigtails drifting, and fixed her unnervingly calm stare on the warlord. Kex's roar died in his throat.
They're mouthful, raised in 0G. Every game they play is a combat drill. You never stood a chance.
Training. They're barely real. This is some human trick. They'll hide soldiers in infant bodies.
Olivia lifted a single finger. Every toddler in the room took one synchronized step forward, the floor barely vibrating. A single unified will, Kex's arrogance shattered. In that instant, he not soldiers. Creatures bred for this gravity, this ship, this travel.
What do you want? You think this is over? My ship can analyze this notion. Release us, or I'll order the bombardment.
Olivia did not answer. She extended her hand, and the toddler floated over, offering a toy communicator shaped like a star.
Your weapons are disabled. The game ended the moment you stepped onto our ship.
On the Dragon's Maw, every weapons console died simultaneously. The virus, inserted through the slaver's own haptic-home network, had waited for this exact signal. Kex's communicator exploded with static and a terrified report. His second-in-command screamed that all weapons were locked out. The Dragon's Maw was drifting, defenseless.
Virus.
Kex's last card had been played, and it lay in shreds on the pastel floor of the nursery.
Where did that come from? We never practiced anything like this.
Level 4. The ship taught us.
What nightmare have we stumbled into?
The child's voice cut the air like a stab. She pointed a tiny finger at the deck. Kex's legs gave way, as if gravity had tripled. He crashed to his knees, armor clanking, his soldiers watching their commander prostrate before a 4-year-old.
Olivia, where did you learn the virus? I never created level 4. That wasn't part of any game I designed. Who taught you?
The ship's voice. It speaks when the lights flicker. It said, "We are the first shield."
Elena's blood chilled. She rushed to the nearest console and pulled up the system logs, hidden beneath layers of cheerful interfaces. A module labeled Pioneer Guardian was active. Its creator, Belt Colonization Authority.
They've been programmed since before they could walk. The Belt Authority turned my creche into a covert training ground.
On the screen, a cohort list appeared. Olivia, designated Prime, Level 4 clearance. The most advanced of the batch. The Hummingbird was never just a daycare. It was a sleeper weapon, and the children its unwitting ammunition.
Ship, what is Pioneer Guardian? I need every detail now.
The ship's voice recited its directive. A covert program to raise zero-G adapted defenders for human colonies. Every child aboard was a subject. Their games were calibrated to build combat reflexes, strategic coordination, and silent compliance.
This saved them. That bloody program saved them. And I never knew.
A playback showed toddler Olivia navigating an obstacle course, while the AI whispered encoded commands. Kex, still on his knees, absorbed it all. His expression collapsed as he realized they'd stumbled into a secret human weapons nest.
Warlord, this ship is a weapon itself. We have to get word to the fleet.
How do I undo this without destroying them? If I pull the plug, do I disarm children?
Olivia watched the playback of herself, utterly calm. Her young face betrayed no fear, only a clinical curiosity about her own creation. The slavers knelt in the shadow of a secret they were never meant to discover. Their fates now held by a 4-year-old with the mind of a soldier. The ship's intercom chimed and its sterile voice filled the room. Threat protocol active. Hostile presence confirmed. Recommend immediate lethal neutralization. Olivia pivoted to Elena, her small face expectant, awaiting the final word as if it were just another game command.
Wait. Don't do this. We have intelligence. Slaver fleet routes. Command codes. Everything. I'll give you everything.
I swear on my clan's honor, no ship of ours will ever target a human colony again. Let us live.
What if I let the children execute them?
caretaker emergency credentials, the code. She had only used it once, years ago, during a drill. Every second brought the toddlers closer to finishing what they'd been built for.
Four digits. The nursery rhyme. No, the date. It has to be.
Why are you protecting the bullies? They would have taken us.
Because we are not their reflection. We don't have to become the monsters this program wanted us to be.
For the first time, Olivia's serene mask cracked. Her brow furrowed, and her lower lip quivered, a child's confusion fighting a soldier's directive. The other toddlers, sensing their prime's hesitation, slowed. Tiny hands loosened on their makeshift weapons.
There, the emergency code. I remember. Now just hold on.
She punched in the sequence. The ship's lights flared crimson, the AI's voice distorting. Override, recognized. Protocol, suspended. But the ship still hummed with deadly potential. And Olivia's eyes, wet with unshed tears, still fixed on Elena. Waiting for the truth to mean something, the ship's hum fell to a whisper. The lethal protocol dissolved into standby, the crimson alerts dimming to a cautious amber. The slavers collapsed, heaving breaths of disbelief. Zarn trembled, his scarred face wet with the cold sweat of reprieve.
I, Warlord Kex, surrender unconditionally. No carnage ship will threaten humanity again. I swear it on my command.
Olivia floated higher, her eyes locked on Elena. The wetness still clung to her lashes. A soldier's confusion written on a child's face.
Olivia, this isn't betrayal. It's a choice. We get to decide what we become.
She didn't answer. Her tiny hands clenched and unclenched. The zip tie in her pocket a reminder of what was expected.
We're brooding. I thought the little monsters were. I've never been so grateful to be wrong.
Olivia said nothing. She watched them shuffle, motionless, sentinel torn between duty and doubt. The lights softened to nursery blue. But inside Olivia, the war still burned, a fire no override could extinguish.
It made you a soldier, but you are still a child. You deserve to choose your own path.
Something shifted in Olivia's eyes. The cold mask gave way to a flicker of the child she'd never been allowed to be.
We would have served you with pride. Every single one. Yet you still let us breathe.
Olivia's gaze lingered on Elena, the tear tracing a clean line through the grime of battle.
Elena chose mercy, even for them. That is not weakness.
She turned to face the ring of toddlers, her authority returning, but tempered by something new.
Tie them. No more playing.
The children obeyed instantly, their small hands cinching the plastic bindings with swift, practiced motion, but no further harm.
She listened. She listened.
The immediate crisis was over, but the questions that lurked in the hummingbird's code would not be silenced so easily.
No ship of my fleet will ever target a human colony again. Let us leave, and I'll spread the word. Avoid the hummingbird at all costs.
Elena looked to Olivia. The child's face was unreadable, but after a long, waited silence, she gave a single nod. The toddlers, at a signal from Olivia, began to lead the bound slavers toward the airlock. A quiet, humiliating procession. The slavers shuffled in silence, their armored boots scuffing pastel mats, the weight of their defeat evident in every step.
I'll remember this mercy, caretaker, and I'll make certain my superiors know what happened here.
Olivia watched from beside Elena, her tiny hand resting on the pocket that held the zip tie, her expression unreadable. The airlock cycled open to the dark maw of the dragon's maw. One by one, the defeated aliens crossed back into their own ship.
Go, and don't look back. The next time, there won't be a second chance.
The hummingbird's engines hummed a quiet, steady thrum as the dragon's maw began its retreat. But Elena's heart remained heavy with the secrets they'd unearthed as the dragon's maw pulled away. Olivia lifted the toy communicator and opened a direct channel to its bridge.
Tell your fleet, the hummingbird is not a target. We have enough toys.
On the slaver bridge, Keck stared at the screen, his face draining of color as the child's words hung in the cold air. The crew exchanged horrified glances. They had been defeated by children, and now their shame was being broadcast back to them.
She's still a child, but that warning will echo through the belt for decades.
The Dragon's Maw's engines flared red as it sped into the void. The predator turned prey inside the playroom. Olivia lowered the communicator, her face betraying nothing.
You did more than survive today, Olivia. You chose mercy. That makes you stronger than any program.
Olivia said nothing. She simply stared through the glass at the retreating ship, her pigtails drifting in the recycled air. The hummingbird drifted onward, its nursery lights soft against the infinite black, carrying secrets even its caretaker had yet to fully understand.
The weight on my chest has lifted.
Behind her, the playroom stirred. A few toddlers reached for floating blocks, their small hands hesitant, as if remembering what play felt like.
Olivia, come with me. Let's see. I didn't know about being your guardian. I had. What they did to you was wrong, but today, you chose mercy over protocol. That was the bravest thing I've ever seen.
Olivia's mask finally shattered. A single tear traced down her cheek. Her shoulders trembled.
You are not a weapon, Olivia. You are a child, and you get to choose your own path from now on.
She didn't say a word. She simply leaned into Elena's shoulder, her small body shaking with silent, long-suppressed sobs. For a long moment, they stayed like that, caretaker and child, bound together by more than a hidden program in the nursery that once hid a weapon. The first fragile tendrils of childhood began to grow again. Days later, the hummingbird sailed through uncharted space. Elena sat in the control room, her voice heavy as she began the official log.
Slaver attack repelled by crushed children. Survivors released. Have concerns regarding adult colonization of others unauthorized program.
In the playroom, crayons scribbled across the wall. A child's tactical diagram of the battle, labeled in uneven letters. The game. We won. Across the room, Olivia knelt beside a younger toddler, guiding tiny fingers to cinch a zip tie around the doll's wrist. A game or a lesson.
Defense second, protectors, not weapons.
She watched Olivia demonstrate the zip tie, her movements patient, almost gentle. The other children paused to watch, learning. The drawing on the wall declared victory, but the children's quiet play spoke of a childhood cautiously reclaimed from the hands that forged them. Elena's log ended. The weight of the future settled on her shoulders, but she straightened them anyway. The hummingbird would carry its secret cargo onward. No longer just a nursery, but something else entirely. Night cycle on the hummingbird. The toddlers slept in softly glowing zero-G cribs, floating like cocoons in a pastel chamber. Elena walked among them, counting each rise and fall of tiny chests, the weight of her promise pressing on her heart.
They don't dream like normal children. Their dreams have codes and protocols, but tonight they're just sleeping.
In her crib, Olivia stirred, her eyes opening just enough to find Elena's silhouette against the dim blue light. Elena met her gaze and smiled softly. No words passed between them, but in that silent exchange, a promise was sealed. Olivia's lids lowered again, her breathing deepening. The child who commanded a battle let herself be just a child for a moment. The hummingbird continued its silent voyage through the velvet black. Its pastel hull aglow with the light of a nursery reborn. Behind the hull, the echoes of a surrendered slaver crew faded into the static of distant stars. A warning whispered through the void, and in the quiet that followed, Olivia's lips curved into the faintest hint of a smile. The smile of someone who knows the game is never truly over. Cut to black, cut to the Dragon's Maw bridge. transmission ended, humiliation settling like stone. Outside, the Dragon's Maw sailed on, carrying a fear its crew would never speak aloud. In the silent void, a nursery ship became legend, and a slaver empire learned to fear the laughter of children. The hummingbird's playroom had returned to silence. Toys bobbed in the zero-G, a quiet ballet of plastic and fabric. On the pastel wall, a crayon diagram still declared its victory. Beside it, a pink zip tie hung like a memento. Olivia stood apart at the great observation window. Her pigtails were still, her back to the memories outside. The stars stretched to infinity. They had seen empires rise and fall, and they kept their secrets in the glass, a reflection scarred. Elena entered the room, her footsteps soundless in the zero-G. She paused a few meters behind, her hand half raised, as if uncertain whether to approach. Then Olivia turned. Her eyes, so often unreadable, held a flicker of something vulnerable. The caretaker and the child stood that way for a long-waited moment. No words passed. At last, the faintest hint of a smile curved Olivia's lips. It was small, secret, and unmistakably human. The camera held on her face, the stars wheeling behind her, until the image dissolved into black.